So let's replace our Truma LPG Combi boiler in our motorhome with a somewhat less expensive diesel Combi boiler. Hi folks, I'm Roger from Offgrid, and in this unusual episode on Offgrid Power Solutions, we're actually talking about heating. But this has been a subject we've wanted to cover for some time. And what it is, you know, in the UK with dwindling availability of LPG, which we think will probably happen in the future on the continent as well, we were wondering what are the ins and outs and the ups and downs of replacing a perfectly good working LPG Combi boiler with a diesel equivalent. And when we started researching it, obviously Truma, who are sort of in most motorhomes, you've got Truma, one or two others that are in most motorhomes, and there are a few others that are used in a lot of camper van conversions. We looked around and we found this particular unit that we're about to unbox now. And we're going to make a series, so 2, 3, maybe 4 very detailed episodes where we cover this in a lot of detail. And this heater comes from a company called JP Heaters in China. And we spoke to them. We've asked them a bunch of questions, which we'll share on these YouTubes. You know, things like what is the lead time, what spares should you buy, what happens if the thing stops working, how do you get support, who pays for the return carriage, do you have a problem with coking up, and all that sort of stuff. So we've asked a few questions, and we have the answers, which we'll also post on below, just for your reference. I have to say that from when we ordered to when this thing landed in the UK, it was remarkably quick. It was about, I'd say about 5 working days. So within a week, we had this thing landed and cleared by DHL in the UK. So that was reasonably impressive because we were used to waiting 2 or 3 months for lithium iron phosphate cells to arrive, and you know they take a lot longer, and most things take 2 or 3 weeks, but this thing arrived really quickly. There are apparently 2 methods, so you could choose a lower shipping cost and wait for a few weeks or 1 or 2 months for it to arrive if you're planning well ahead, or if you need it in a hurry, you get express delivery, which is what we got. And as I was saying, that within a week we had this thing. So it comes in these 2 boxes. So you got, I suspect this has got the boiler in here, and this has got all of the other parts. But I'm going to open this up now and put it onto the workbench, and let's just look at all of the components. And what Nigel and I will be doing is just planning exactly what we are going to do in this build. Looking at the dimensions, I mean, we've seen them online, but just figuring out how we're going to rip out a perfectly good working Truma Combi boiler and replace it with this equivalent diesel. So let's get this opened. So you can see it's fairly well strapped down. So quite well packaged because you've got a box within a box, so it's just some extra padding. And in this box we have the boiler itself. Some nice padding we can use for sending things out. I'll have a look at this box shortly, but yeah, this is the boiler. It stays in this orientation. So that's, yeah, not too heavy. That's looking good. Can I get it out of there easily?
Let's get it out on the workbench.
Yeah. If you look in the bottom, look at this. This is interesting. It's actually on a board. It's bolted to a plywood base in here. And that's quite impressive, really. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be easier to put this on the floor and then lift the boiler out. Right, so we have brought the boiler out, and it's quite a nice little unit. I think this is your water intake, your water outlet, your hot water outlet. Not sure what these are yet. This is obviously to do with your exhaust, your intake and your exhaust for the air. As we said, it's mounted on this plywood, so it comes pretty well packaged all the way from China. I'm assuming there's going to be a sort of a cover that goes over this. So your electrics, and these will be your duct sending heated air out. I'm not sure how this works because this has got, maybe this is meant to come out. But yeah, you've got 4 outlets for, you know, have a blower in there, and 4 outlets to send the hot air out. So that's for your heating, and then obviously your on the other side for your water. And this side's fairly boring, just simply, yeah. This is going to be fairly easy to mount. We'll probably just screw it down just there, and then on the other side as well. So that'll be over here. So screw it down in 4 places. And it's a fairly small unit. I think this is a 10 litre. But from what I've read and other reviews, this thing heats the water pretty quickly. It would appear, and this remains to be seen, it would appear that it heats the water quite a lot faster than the LPG combis do. So let's see about that. And by the way, this edition, we specifically wanted one that can run off mains as well. So it can run off to 220 volt, 230 volt for the UK. You can buy these units for 110 volt for the States. But yeah, we wanted that. So it runs off diesel and or mains power. So I've pulled this red thing that was just stuffed in there to keep it safe and secure. And this is clearly the 230 volt power supply. So that's cool. We know exactly where to connect that. This little box was in the big box with this. There's another box full of parts, but let's just see what's in this one here. Some sort of a cover. I think this would close up on there. That's logical. That's where that would go. An instruction booklet. It's funny how they call it an air parking heater. And then a few wires, and this is obviously for the 12 volt supply, I'm guessing. And the controller, so that would get mounted somewhere. And this is the room thermostat, so that would mount in a good place. So we've taken out the items from the small box that was in with the heater itself. So just running through these, you've got the control panel, very lightweight. It's going to need a big hole drilled out of something, cut out of something to mount it, but maybe it'll fit in where the previous controller went. Yeah, it does look very similar to the Truma ones. I'm guessing this goes with here, but I'll read the instructions. But obviously you've got this cable which plugs in there and there. The cable looks fairly short. I don't know how long it is. We'll take it out and measure it later, but I'm wondering if this is going to be long enough, and if it's not, how easy it is to get these cables slightly longer. I'll check with them and see what they say, send them some more questions. A few cable ties. This is the cover that goes over here. This here is for your 12 volt input, which plugs in over here, goes down to your battery or whatever. The manual, all important manual, we'll be going through this. And then finally, that's your room temperature sensor, which does actually look exactly like a Truma one. A reasonable length cable, so we'll be able to place this in a good optimal position. So happy with that. So that's what came with this. Let's check the other box. This, I'm assuming, let's put these out here. I'm assuming this is for putting into your tank. Yeah. This is your exhaust, well, exhaust and intake. That would work. That goes onto there. Lots of this tubing, which I'll put aside. Some more of this tubing, this ducting. Right, now let's pull these things out. This is your outside vent. I've already got one that's probably okay, but I might change it to this anyway. Not sure where this goes.
For the fuel pump.
Yeah, it could be. See over here, they say the number 8 is the pump. So this one here is where the fuel pump goes. And this does fit onto there, yeah, so that's right. So this is to power the fuel pump. And this is the fuel pump. Interesting looking little unit. Wonder how similar it is to the Truma. There we have it. And these are to work with your ducts to put inside. I've already got them in my motorhome, so I won't actually need these. I presume this is something to do with fuel or something like that. It's a very small hole, tiny little hole. Various pipe fittings, taps and things like that. Not sure that I will actually need these. They are here, come with the kit. And see, here's a small blue pipe. Here's a very similar looking white pipe. Not sure what they are yet. I'm sure we'll find out later what they do, but most likely something to do with the diesel line, I'm guessing. Yeah, nice and messy. Yeah. And let me just wipe this off quickly. And then finally, we've got various Jubilee clips, a little filter. I'm guessing this filter is going to be quite important to place in a location where we can change it if necessary. And yeah, T-pieces and all sorts of things like this. Right, so that is everything in the box. So that gives you an idea of what comes with the heater. It's pretty much everything that you would need to install this into a van conversion, say a new build. Not a bad heater to have, being a combi heater. You know, it provides you with heating as well as the hot water at a reasonably affordable price. I think you land these in the UK for about $1,200 would be the normal price that you pay on their website and have it shipped out after tax and customs and everything. About £1,200 is what you would pay for this. The equivalent Truma, from what I can make out, is going to be about 1,800 to $2,000. So quite a fairly big saving going with this. I have read that these are very, very similar to Truma. In fact, some guys say they are absolutely identical, that you can interchange parts with them. I don't know if that's true because we've not actually seen the Truma yet. Our Truma is not this version anyway, so we wouldn't be able to compare. But maybe somebody could put some comment and say if that's true. It will be interesting if parts are interchangeable. So we've unboxed this and looked at all the parts that came with it. It looks fairly straightforward, I must say. We'll have to figure out where we're going to mount this fuel pump, and probably as usual it needs to be at an angle. I've heard a few complaints that these are the noise polluters. These particular pumps cause quite a lot of noise pollution, and people who've on campsites in close proximity to other motorhomes complain. And there are apparently quite a few aftermarket fuel pumps that you can use in place of these that are much, much quieter. But it remains to be seen just how noisy it is. It might not be that noisy. It might be absolutely fine. So we'll be doing the next episode when we actually start taking the old one out and preparing to drop this in. I suspect we'll have 2 or 3 episodes of this particular series running through this. But yeah, looking forward to getting a nice diesel heater into my motorhome. So we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.